Yom Hazikaron 2020, a very different experience. Staying home every year, we go to the cemetery of the military in Tel Aviv, Kiryat Shaul, to visit the grave and the family of one of my friends, Ariel Shrem, who's killed in Lebanon 27 years ago. It's an amazing experience, being together with 200,000 people, mourning together, singing a tikva together, and then moving forward to the celebrations of Yom Ha'atzmaut together. And even this year, when we have to be alone, so much togetherness we experience now in Israel. 4 years ago, I was in America in a lecture tour, and I was supposed to speak the Shabbat before Yom Ha'atzmaut and the Shabbat after Yom Ha'atzmaut, and I came back to Israel just for 36 hours because it was inconceivable for me to think of spending Yom Hazikaron in America and not having this experience in Israel. Because Yom Hazikaron, it's not a ceremony, it's life. This is Jewish life. This is life in Israel, of mourning together and celebrating together. It is one of the most powerful experiences I personally have, and all of us have during the year. To explain that story, I want to share with you one of so many stories. It's a story about Miri Furstenberg. Today she is around 70. When she was 5 years old, 1954, she came back with a family from Eilat. Her father was a bus driver. One of the two bus drivers of the line from Tel Aviv to Eilat were celebrating 5 years, the liberation of Eilat. They were on their way back from Eilat to Tel Aviv after a family vacation of all bus drivers and their families. On the way back down south in Malei Akrabim in the Negev, the bus was attacked by a group of terrorists who brutally killed almost everyone in the bus, including the parents of Miri. She and her brother, who was 10 years old, were rescued by soldiers who were trying to hide them. But after the terrorists left the bus, her brother started speaking, and the terrorist came back and shot him in his head. So she, by herself, with two other soldiers, were the only survivors from that brutal, murderous attack. She described how a 5 years old child that never faced death is sitting there crying. Her parents are not alive. She saw her brother got shot in his head. She has no clue about the future. What will future bring? How will she grow up? Who will raise her? Eventually, she was brought to a kibbutz, and she was zochet to build a big family. Anyways, after she was sharing her story, and it was broadcasted in television during a ceremony that took place in the Knesset, there was a young lady, an officer in the army. She's a commander in the army base for officers in Bad Echad. And she said, "My name is Rotem. I'm an officer in the army, in the IDF. I'm a proud officer. And I'm proud because my grandmother is Miri Furstenberg, who built a family out of nothing. And all of us are serving in the army, officers. That's Israel. The hope. Israel is about life. Yeah, we remember the pain and the losses and the wars and the terror attacks. We are mourning, we are crying. But it's not a ceremony. It's life. It's strength. That's Netzach Yisrael. That's the eternity of our nation. We are now in a time period of Sfirat HaOmer. On one hand, It's a time period of mourning. You have many halachot, how to mourn during Sfirat Omer. But originally, Sfirat Omer was time of simcha, of happiness, of rejoicing. It was a long Chol HaMoed between Pesach and Shavuot. In Judaism, it's intertwined. Mourning and happiness. That's life. That's eternity. That's the experience of Yom Hazikaron and Yom Ha'atzmaut. Entire nation mourning together, and then entire nation celebrating together. It's life. In every wedding, towards the end of the chuppah, we break a glass. But after breaking the glass, we say Mazel Tov. Why do we say Mazel Tov when breaking the glass? It's supposed to be a sign of mourning. It's an amazing insight of the Sfat Emet, the Admor of Gur, the Ger Rebbe. And he says the following: every time when we remember, we connect. When we break the glass, when we mourn over Bet Mikdash, we remember, we connect. We draw simcha, happiness. We draw joy from the Bet Mikdash. That's why we say Mazel Tov. Because the ability to remember, it's painful, but it brings us joy. And then we can see the joy and say Mazel Tov. That's what we practice on Pesach. One of the climaxes of Pesach is the korach, the sandwich. We take the maror that symbolizes the bitterness, the hardships, the troubles, the pains, and we eat it together with the matzah that symbolizes the redemption, salvation, light, future. They are together, intertwined. The pain and the light, the darkness and the hope. That's Jewish eternity. That's how we celebrate Pesach. That's how we celebrate smachot, weddings. And that's how we celebrate Yom Hazikaron and Yom Ha'atzmaut together. Yom Hazikaron, it's not a Memorial Day, which has got nothing to do with Independence Day. They are together, the pain and the happiness. That's also what we said at the end of the Haggadah. Ram Hoda ki lecha yom af lecha layla. Please, God, give us this understanding that you bring the darkness, but you also bring the light. The light is following darkness. Every night has the following day, the following morning that brings light, that brings hope for the future. Yes, we have tefillah. And our tefillah, our prayer, that's the way we end the Haggadah. Karev yom asher hu lo yom velo layla. We hope to be in a place, that the world will be in a place, that we can see the light without the preceding darkness. Just big light, or chadash al Zion Ta'ir. But till then, till we reach that point, our life is intertwined with the pain, with the mourning, with the past. Bedamai chai, bedamai chai. Yom HaZikaron, it's not a ceremony. The story of Mary, that's a story of Am Israel, of the state of Israel. It's a story of life. It's a living nation. We mourn. We mourn on every soldier, every soul that we lost in the wars, in the terror attacks. But every tear is a tear of life, is a tear of hope. And that's how we can transform so much pain and sadness to so much happiness, because this is not ceremony, this is life. And for that reason, even for 1 year, I was unable to miss that experience of spending Yom HaZikaron and Yom Ha'atzmaut in Israel. Only when being here, you can feel what life is, what is the future of Am Israel, of our nation, the nation of eternity. Should all have Bsorot Tovot, and please God soon, tomorrow on Yom Ha'atzmaut, Chag Sameach.